What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, LoBaggers? It is Friday, February 22nd at 8:01 a.m. Pacific time in Los Angeles, California. I am just bringing the chat up right now. Thank you guys all for joining us. It is our last day of live shooting, but we're still going to be partying. We have a party tonight at Dames and Games. Saturday night, we have a party at the Parlor in Hollywood where we will be watching the Lakers game. We will be watching the Warriors game, and we will be talking basketball and talking good times. Shout out to everybody joining me in the chat. We got Barry Cohen, who says, need some winners today. Last 3 days have been extremely awful. Yes, it has been a tough week. It has been a tough week, and I got my February together, and then I threw it again in the gutter. But last Friday, I had $1,000 day. I need one this Friday. Geghard A in the house, Christopher Comentini, Dave LA giving us the first baseball play that I've seen him give. Buck Nasty saying baseball time. Shout out to Buck Nasty. Dave LA saying Phillies money line. Rico Money in the house. You got Moss in the house liking a spot in golf, liking Brandon Grace versus Keegan Bradley in the second round. We got Nutflush Allen. We got Ricardo Gutierrez, Matt Randall. Taint Play of the Day is back on track. He did smash the under, and I tailed the under. I tailed the Taint Play of the Day UCF Cincy under. I went 3-3 in college basketball, 1-2 in NBA. Shout out to Ski Profit. We debated that game very hard, that Rockets-Lakers game, and that was a big run, a big late run the Lakers put on. And Drew Daddy in the house there, Ski Profit right there saying Lakers. Troy V, Jose Contreras, Adam Lastman, Julian Cesario, Daryl Lyles, Coco Bongo, Art Hayes. We got a great group. Troy V, Odar Lear straight out of Venezuela, Kevin Pine in the house, Paulo Marquez says, Jimmy, today I want something too big. A one NHL game money line. Okay, man. Yeah, Paulo Marquez, we'll get that for you. We got James Spina in the house, Cash Action Bets, Anthony S. Well, we have big shows today. We have a nice looking card. Fridays historically, since I've started, capping for you guys with Loshak, and my partner Lowe's Loshak not with us today, but he will be back soon. I will be back from LA next week, and we will be rolling everything. Everything will be coming back together in normalcy, and it's perfect. We'll have Loshak back just in time for the baseball season to go off. But breaking down this card, Fridays historically have been tough. A little overwhelmed because you'd be putting so much energy into capping all week. At least that's my thing. And then Fridays have been tough. But lately, because college basketball is so overwhelming on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, having a nice college basketball card that we can cap every single one of the games so we can figure out which games we have edges on. We got only 5 NHL games, and I like 3 of them quite a bit. And then we have 9 NBA games. So we have a schedule where we can actually cap every single one of these games to find exactly what are the best angles. So I like this spot very, very much. Get Cardenas says, Jimmy, way to go fading the Canucks. Saved my parlay telling you there. Yeah, it was a tough night. I mean, my NHL play of the day, which I got plus 202 on with the Devils. We're going to go right back to the fading the Senators. That was too easy. But some bad breaks. The Islanders lost in overtime. The Predators were up 2-0 on the Kings and then only won 2-1 and didn't cover the puck line. Troy V says, be careful with NHL right now. Some teams are resting players with trade deadline approaching. I think instead, Troy, I think that we take advantage of that. I think that we know what's going on. We have our ear to the streets of NHL. So I think we can actually take advantage of that and not get hurt by that. But I hear what you're saying. So it ends up being, even though that, and then I thankfully hit the under 7 in that Penguins-Sharks game, but to see the Penguins lose 4-0 was pretty shocking. Seeing San Jose start at a trip like that was pretty shocking. Shout out to Joe Wynn in the house. Kevin Pine says over in Stars Cash there were some good moves. I mean, staying away from St. Louis was good. Shout out to Michael Martins. It was disappointing that it wasn't a bigger night. I actually thought that we were in store for a big night early, especially with the Devils rolling and NBA looking good. I thought the Sixers were going to cover. Not hitting those foul shots down the stretch was extremely bothersome. But I had the honor of hitting that under in the Celtics game alongside the whale capper, who I had a beer with after the show. What a great guy. What a spectacular capper. A definite must follow on Twitter is Whale Capper. And that squad that I was with yesterday, who I enjoyed so much, will be back in action again today. So that means we'll have Trot Wham, DJ Big Boss, Ski Profit, J Money is Money, King Rail, and Whale Capper. And not only that, making his Low Shack and the Bag debut, we have Angel Romero in the house. Nasty Nate says, how was Lit Lounge? I'll tell you how Lit Lounge was. The power went out. Oh, Jamel Wright says, thanks for the Devils pick to me. You know, it's funny. I'm having a bad – we got a team play today already. Team play today. Okay, so I'm having a bad week in NHL, but the plays of the day have been cashing. So, it's everything we're going to get together. Shout out to Red Girl says, so sick today but couldn't miss the show. We have so much love for you, Red Girl. You hand out winners nonstop. Matt Randall's play today, that's an immediate copy and paste for me. Here we go. Copy it, and then I'll let you know how it went in that name. So we show up to the Lit Lounge. I was a little late, and the power had gone out in this smoke event. The power had gone out, and so we didn't end up rolling in Lit Lounge. And we went to a bar down the street, a bar where DJ Big Boss used to spin at, and watched the Lakers game all together. But tonight's the big night. Dames and games. We have titties and sports. It's going to be that perfect marriage of titties and sports. And then tomorrow's the big one, 4 o'clock at the Parlor in Hollywood. Flipper13 says, didn't everybody have Lakers money line last night? No, not me, not King Rail, and not Whale Capper. We all like the Rockets. So Kevin Pine says, Devils was so easy. Great call. You're absolutely right. It was so easy. And I have to believe that the Blue Jackets are like that as well, as long as Panderin's not still shitting his pants, as Tortorella called it yesterday. But yeah, Devils was so easy, -1.5. We got on it early. I got a +202, which was ridiculous. I didn't get to bet it at that point. I bet it at +185, but it was a great spot. All right, so Vegas Gun in the house. Shout out to my man Vegas Gun. And Rico Money says Lakers was easy, man. Coco Bongo says Lit Lounge wasn't so late. Yeah, you got that one. You got that right. But tonight will be. So I hope you guys join us. Please join us at Dames and Games tonight. I'm really excited about that. You know what was easy? Shout out to Mr. Gogster. What was easy was the Kings at +12.5. And, the 3 games that they played this year against the Warriors had been so close, and yet I don't jump on it. That was what upset me the most. Let's talk about Matt Randall's Taint Play of the Day, as it's 5-2. My man Matt Randall handing out winners. We'll talk about that. Oh, my God. Royal Flush, is that right? Stone to the Flames? Wow, Royal Flush. Is there any more information? I'm sure they didn't give up anything but prospects. Wow. Ooh, that looks good for my futures. Ooh, shit. Oh, that's nice. Thank you for letting us know that, Royal Flush. Rico Money says was easy money, Lakers and Kings +12. Disappointing to go 1-2 in NBA yesterday, but we have a lot of games to look at. We're going to break them down in each and every single one of those games. And then again, on the LoBag Late Show, we're going to have all the NBA experts rolling with us. Troy Lee says, Jimmy, I'm leaning Ducks tonight +210. Yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts. We'll start with NHL. Matt Randall's Taint Play today. Davidson, Rhode Island, under 132. He says, hurry, line is going down. Hurry. So I'm going to break down the other games, and I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on there. But shout out to my man, Matt Randall. Now, let's just take a quick look at everything that went down yesterday. Philly did not cover, which was upsetting. That third quarter was awful. They still should have covered, but missed foul shots down the end. Now, that Cleveland at home, a lot of people were on the Suns last night, and I told everybody on the Late Show, remember this spot. Now, the Knicks have a worse roster than the Suns, but the Knicks, to me, had a better roster than the Cavs when they played, and it was the exact same situation. The Knicks were in Cleveland, and I took the Knicks on the money line at +105, and I took it confidently. Cavs won 107, 104. And I said, and this is something you have to do in the association, is not make the same mistakes twice. Remember what mistakes you're making. Remember when the association gets you. And so I stayed off the Phoenix at Cleveland, even though everybody was on the Suns and they have a much better roster. Cleveland wins easily, 111-98, but doesn't cover the first quarter. Going back to when are the Cavs going to win first quarters? They're going to win first quarters against good teams that could care less about playing them. I guess what we're learning is that any team that's really bad, you should take them on the first quarter against Cleveland. They know this is their opportunity to get a win. They come out flying. So maybe we should. So I'm going to do both now. That's what I'm going to do from now on to the rest of the year until it blows up in my face or something goes wrong. I'm going to take the Cavs first quarter against great teams, and I'm going to take the opposition if it's a bad team. If one of the worst teams in the NBA, I'm going to take them first quarter against the Cavs. I like that a lot. Oh no, Allison says I had a bottle for y'all, but didn't know where y'all went. Oh no, Allison, did we have a chance of hanging last night? Oh man. Oh no. Whew. Fred Giles said Jimmy told you with them beat out. Celtics is the play. Well, yeah, 2 different games, but I hear you there. Mr. Ghost says New Jersey. No, you got Moss. Loshak did not quit. He did not quit. Mr. Ghost says New Jersey Devils puck line was the lowest hanging fruit of the year. I think so. I absolutely think so. Oh man, Allison, I hate that. Hopefully we can run tonight or tomorrow at the parlor. Frank Gonzalez says Rangers game was tough, Jimmy. Yeah, that was a tough loss. Anthony S says good call, Jimmy, on the first quarter rationale. I think it makes perfect sense. Troy V says, Jimmy, you got a great read on the Cavs first quarter. Good. So I really do. So let's start that up now in the second half of the year. Let's with everybody working together, that's how you beat the association. That's how you beat NBA. So I believe that I think we can keep rolling. So let's keep looking at this card. Portland beat Brooklyn. There was another case of trusting the market move, which I didn't, but it took me off of Brooklyn. 3.5 point swing towards Brooklyn. It ended up being a 4.5 point swing in some books. Portland ends up going off at -3. They win easily. Boston, Milwaukee, we hit that under by, I don't have the totals up here, but we hit that under so easily. Another thing, if you look at this, other than Sacramento, Golden State, if you look all the way down the line, first quarter unders in every one of these games. And that's another trend that you'll see after the All-Star break. The shooting is poor. You have bad shooting. You don't have teams in a rhythm. So I think we should look at first quarter unders today in the NBA card, and we should look at full game unders. Say, oh, JC said I also drove it from. Oh no, JC Alvarez. Oh, and then you must have seen. Oh no, man. Oh, JC. Yeah. See, I didn't. My problem is I don't have Wi-Fi until because I got my Costa Rican phone in certain spots. Oh, JC. God damn. Oh, I hate seeing that, man. My fault. Oh, yeah. We went right up the street to Miles Bar. Damn. All right. Ugh. Oh, I hate seeing that, JC. I really wanted to hang with you. Okay, let's keep rolling through this. God, that sucks, JC. Ugh, man. We have so the Houston Lakers, Greg Kosky, Profit again, and some interesting stuff will be on Kings Court today, and also when they join me on the Loshak and the Bag Late show. And then Sacramento was an easy cover, and that was the biggest mistake of the night for me. Troy V says, that's why I like a few unders tonight with great stats to back it up. I like it. So we'll hammer that up. And then in college basketball, those 2 unders were so easy in Michigan, Minnesota, they put up 85 points in the second half, and we still hit the under. So that was a little touch and go. Minnesota did not cover. A lot of people liked Minnesota. Shout out to Babano, who liked William and Mary. They pulled it off as a slight home dog in overtime. UCF Cincinnati was another easy under, even though they hit 71 points in the second half. And then there weren't a lot of huge games, but IPFW, all you guys liked IPFW. They barely got it done. They lost by 9, so they covered. So that was my third win. And then San Francisco won as dogs at BYU. Gonzaga did not cover. They only won by 28 at home against Pepperdine. So it was an interesting card. Hawaii got destroyed by UC Santa Barbara, and Oregon State did cover. Like Babano said, they did cover. Oh, JC Alvarez, that's still eating at me. Man, because I got to meet some new guys last night. I got to meet Bobby Lee. I got to meet my man Robert Gilmore, and it sucks that we didn't get more of you guys. Oh man, so Allison, I hate reading that. JC Alvarez, I hate reading that. We got to roll with you guys tonight or tomorrow, and all the way up from San Diego. Oh, that's eating at me, JC. Hate seeing that. So San Jose beats Pittsburgh 4-0 easily. Minnesota gets out of their funk against the Rangers. So now if you look at the wild lines, we're taking maybe a little too long in this review. We got to move on. Maybe we should just move on. But if you're looking at the lines, some of these AHL guys and some of the guys who are coming up, like Eriksson Ek and other players, are starting to be comfortable in their roles as center. That's starting to roll right now. So maybe Minnesota won't be that simple fade anymore. Maybe they're getting a little more comfortable being without their second, third, and fourth line centers. New Jersey was too easy. Carolina came back and beat Florida. That over was probably pretty simple, which in my lean towards the under in Washington Leafs, I wish I hadn't lost those two games last week on the unders with Toronto, because that would have been an easy casher. Tampa Bay does not take care of business at Buffalo. Montreal smashes Philly, so that was a loss. Nashville 2-1. Oh, that late LA game. If I had hit the Nashville puck line, I would have had a profitable night. So everything kind of went downhill. Luckily for us, we hit the Arizona on the road. I was pretty confident in that play. I was nervous not seeing that. And then the Islanders, Edmonton. Edmonton came back and won late, which was another very bothersome situation. There was a chance for a nice winning night, but so that is that's the review of the card. So without further ado, let's get to work right now on this NHL card. We got 5 games on the slate. There's 3 spots that I like very much. I'm going to pull up NHL and SBR odds and make sure that I got both the money lines and totals, and we'll move to point spreads when we have to. Let's get to work. And the stats are all going to come out when I get back from Los Angeles, and when Pete left, about a few days into it, I was at a plus 20.9 units in NHL, and that is not even close to the case anymore. It's been a tough little run. I look forward to longingly stare into his mustache. All right, let's roll. Jackets at Senators. I'm going right back to the well. I am fading this Senators team. I'm fading them at -1.5. I'm getting plus 135 at 5 dimes. That's the best. Jackets -1.5. At plus 135. So our Tammy Panarin, who's been spectacular this year, he's expected to be back in the lineup. I expect him to be there. Tortorella expects him he was out with an illness, but that was he missed the game on Tuesday night. And now we're on Friday, so he's had enough time to get over this issue. 4 goals, 3 assists in his last 5 games. Leads the team in assists and points, 67 points, 43 assists. Josh Anderson, a big boy and playing great hockey. This is the type of young player that all these teams need, that the Detroit Red Wings have a couple of, especially with Mantha. But Josh Anderson, big, strong forward, young forward, has a 5th multi-point performance of the season. Second in his last 7 games, gets a goal and assist against the Canadiens. He has 21 goals now. And Bobrovsky's turned the corner. He had a terrible January, 2-5-0, 4.18 goals against average, 858 save percentage. He's turned that around in February, 5-2-0, 2.30 goals against average, 922 save percentage. Defenseman Ryan Murray isn't traveling with the team with an upper body injury. Blackhawks will play Ottawa before coming home, and Murray will not be back then either. Murray's going to be out for a while. Senators on the second half of a back-to-back. Mark Stone now traded to the Flames. Duchesne and Zingle will be traded at some point soon. And just the feeling of watching these guys leave the dressing room. Now, it'll get better, but right now, I think we take advantage of it. Right now, I think that Ottawa, as soon as they get these guys out of the dressing room, and Loshak talks about it, and the AHL guys come up and they create a new energy in the room, they might be a team we might want to back a couple spots. But it's just a deflating situation right now. And also, Craig Anderson will be back in goal, and he's looked terrible of late. He allowed 9 goals in his last 2 games. He's got good numbers against Columbus. Senators are still missing Mark Borowiecki, but this is a pretty easy spot. Troy V says, Breadman done shit in his pants. That's what we've heard. Yeah, Mr. Gosher says Panarin had the runs. Yeah, it was not good. And, of course, Tortorella let us know in a very descriptive fashion. So I'm on the Jackets -1.5, plus 135. That's my first spot. Now we have Wild at Red Wings. Wild on the second half of a back-to-back. Also, when you look at this Senators team, you're like, what do they have? What's good about this team? One's their 11th in goals per game at 3.10, 12th in power play at 21.4%. Take their top 3 scorers off that, and now they're just a bad hockey team. 27th penalty killing at 77%, 31st goals against at 3.72. They're just going to be able to do very little here in this spot. Ricardo Gutierrez says Avalanche Blackhawks over 7. That's not a bet I make. That's not a bet I make in NHL, but I can understand why someone wanted to do it. Ron Crawford is going right back to the well. Jim Remy says, I agree to fade Senators at plus 202, but not at plus 135, Jimmy. You know, I hear you. You know, Remo says Stone wasn't traded to the Flames, Jimmy. Interesting. Stone wasn't traded to the Flames, Jimmy. Jim Remy, I'm just going to take what the NHL gives me here. And the Jackets need this win badly. Craig Anderson is playing terrible. The only positives of this Senators team is their offense, and they don't have them right now. I'm just taking what's being given to me, and I don't mind taking the Jackets -1.5 at plus 135. Michael Martin's liking Detroit. Fred Giles says fade the Wild Red Wings money line. I am also, and Mr. Goxar, I'm also on the Red Wings money line. Wild on the second half of a back-to-back. The Wings have actually looked better than the score has been indicated. They're actually playing pretty good hockey. And I know they're coming off the 5-4 loss. They've lost 6 of 8, but this is also that perfect spot. Not my most favorite, but one of my favorite spots, winning their third game of a 5-game homestand. They've been falling behind early and looking good, battling back. They rallied from 4 goals down in the third period to Philadelphia. That's impressive stuff. 3-goal deficit against Chicago on Wednesday. That Larkin, Athanasiou, and Mantha are playing so well. That's a very dangerous line moving forward. Larkin and Athanasiou each scored 2 goals. Mantha assists on all of them. Larkin has 8 goals in his last 12 games. Athanasiou, 5 goals in his last 5 games. Jimmy Howard has not looked very good since the All-Star break. I'm not entirely sure if that will continue, but Abdelkader out with a flu, should be back. Or it's actually one report said he's unlikely still tonight. So Abdelkader, jury's still out whether he'll be in the lineup. Darren Helm, day-to-day, but should be in the lineup. I feel, and Dominic just said, I did say the Flyers are frauds, and that held up. You absolutely did. Viper MB says, what did Jimmy say about, I'm on Jackets -1.5. Jin Rummy, and a very, very good NHL capper. Excellent NHL capper, thinks that that's not enough value for a road favorite. I just feel like the only advantages that Ottawa has are moot because of their top 3 forwards being out of the lineup, and that's all they have is offense. So, in saying that, I'm going to back the Red Wings. The Wild are on the second half of a back-to-back. They did snap their 5-game losing streak. They did trade Charlie Coyle, and Donato looked pretty good. 2 assists in his first game. He's on the third line with Eriksson, Ek, and Kunin. He's also on the second power play unit. And as we talked about for a while, the Wild are starting to get more comfortable without the second, third, and fourth centermen. So with all that said and done, I am on the Detroit Red Wings money line. Let's see what I will get right now. Detroit Red Wings money line here. It opened at -105 at Bet Online, and it's still there, and I'm going to take it. Detroit Red Wings money line -105. I'm not going to go for the puck line, even though I can understand doing that. I just want to stay live in case this game goes to overtime or a shootout. And let's just take a quick look at what's going on with the total in this game. Because Red Wings are playing a very offensive brand of hockey, and the 5.5s are on the board. Wow, that's interesting. 5.5 on the board. Very, very interesting. That I'm gonna, take a look at that throughout the afternoon. Okay, let's move on to. And Miss Gorge said I would have thought Detroit would be more of a favorite. They've been losing games. Pie Guy said, Jimmy, would you take the over here? I'm very interested in it. Very interested in it. So the Wild were shut out in back-to-back games. Come back and put up 4 against the Rangers. Detroit's been leaning towards much more offensive games. I think it'd be good just to kind of see how the market handles it and keep studying that spot. Now we get to the Avalanche at Blackhawks. I've left a lot of money on the table, not taking these over 6.5s, and now we're sitting here with a 7, right? 7 with Avalanche. Wow, 7 with the Avalanche Blackhawks. I'm not going to take the under 7. Oh, and Randy Lockhart says 1 and 3 wings under looks good, and the Herb says the over 5.5 is a very nice spot. John Reed says this is the time of the year when puck line, in my opinions, are harder to hit. That's an interesting take. I still think that we're in a nice little spot here for about another 3 weeks or so before it gets a little trickier in the NHL. But I understand that breakdown. And very interesting, Dan Kelly. I'm going to copy and paste this here and then bring it up when we go over Matt Randall's play of the day. See if Maxwell Smart will be joining us on the late show today. And Rico Money, like in Blackhawks, -1.5. It looks to me like this Avalanche team has got their shit together. And thankfully, because I've got the over 86.5 points, but it really feels like this is a nice, well, I wouldn't say nice spot because the Blackhawks are playing so well. Let's break this down. Colorado coming off back-to-back wins, 3-0 over the Vegas Knights at home on Monday, and then that giant 7-1 win at Winnipeg on Wednesday. They bounced back from their 8-game winless streak. They've got 6 out of possible 8 points. Varlamov, it's all Varlamov because that first line hasn't started rolling. They didn't even really start rolling in that 7-goal victory over the Jets. It's Varlamov who's playing. Shout out to Nate Pereira. Hope we get to see you tonight or tomorrow, Nate. I would love that. Varlamov has been playing very well. He's allowed 4 goals in his past 4 games, stopped 120 of 124 shots. Colin Wilson remains on the IR. Ian Cole and Mark Barberio are out of the lineup indefinitely. Blackhawks coming off their 10th win in 12 games, 5-4 at Detroit in overtime. Kane has a 19-game point streak. He did not record assist, but he did score twice, including the game winner. It's Cam Ward or Colin Delia in goal. I've got Cam Ward listed. I'd be surprised if they keep going with Cam Ward. Richie Rich says Columbus right spot, public percentage dropping. Nice. Beautiful. I like seeing that. Kevin Pine says, I like the Avalanche today. Randy Lockhart says 3-2. I would love to take these. Oh, and Delia is confirmed. That makes a lot more sense to me. Delia, 6-3-3, 3.43 goals against average, a very high goals against average, but a 9-12 save percentage, which isn't that bad for a young goaltender. Seabrook is not traveling with the team. He's out. Drake Cagula has an eye injury. Brandon Perlini is sick. David Camp, their third-line center, is out indefinitely. I think that the Avs could be the spot here, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. Let's see what you get here with the Avs if you were to back them. And the Avs are a favorite. And that's you just don't want to take road favorites unless you truly, truly trust the situation like I do with the Jackets here. So let's keep rolling along. Now, here is a puck line I am on. I am on the Calgary Flames -1.5. There was some talk whether, JC Alvarez, I hate seeing that happened last night, man. I got to make that up. I promise, JC Alvarez, when we do connect finally, I will make that up for you. I'd love if we could see you Friday, Saturday, but if it's not the case, I will make that up to you, my man. So I can understand why people think the Ducks have value. You know, they've won 3 of 4 since firing Randy Carlyle, and we've been all over them too. You know, since this the accountability has drastically risen with the general manager coming behind the bench. So I can understand why people would be on this, but I'll tell you what, I think that this Flames team is in a really nice spot here on this homestand. They've won 3 straight. They beat that Islanders team badly. I know it's just 4-2, but they outshot them 32-19, and the Islanders were like despondent. They were so upset with how they played. They were completely outplayed by this Flames team. It looks like maybe the Flames pick somebody up today. There's talk about, and Miller is starting in goal, and Miller has been very good, you know, in this short little run he's been on, but I do not trust him, and I do not trust him on the road, and I do not trust him coming off of a shutout. Michael Martin says, stay away from this Ducks game. Not me. I'm going to take the Flames -1.5 here. I just feel like this is a team that is rolling, and the Ducks, we saw what happened when Hitchcock took over with the Oilers. They won a few games out of the break, played better, but then they became who we thought they were, and that's what's going to happen here to me. I see a +115 on the board, and I'm going to take it, and I'm not going to be uncomfortable with it. I'm going to take the -1.5 at +115. Daniel Hernandez says, take the under 6 for the Flames. I'm really uncomfortable with doing that in Flames games, but you're right. That might be an interesting spot. I'm going to take a look at that during the afternoon show. All right, beautiful. Also, James Neal, week to week, he'll be reevaluated. He's missed 2 games. He's not going to play tonight, it looks like. But and Richie Rich says, like everything about Detroit tonight, 56% public backing, low money line off 3 straight losses. I agree. Jesse Cool says, I agree. Jimmy Miller's run will end soon. Jansen saying, Spurs play of the day. Wow, I'm going to be going against that, Jansen. I'm going to be fading that. We'll break that game down too. And Don Ricci says, Flames is my pick to watch after the All-Star. I'm with Jimmy on the Flames. Yeah, this just seems like a nice spot, and I don't mind +115. Don Ricci, Flames team total over is a lean. Yeah, you can almost not go wrong with that at this point. And Ryan Miller's, he's got 3.69 goals against average, 894 save percentage this year. So let's not get carried away. Nate Perez says, I like the Red Wings tonight. So do I. So I've got plays on 3 of the 4 games, and here's a spot that I'm staying away from. And that's Jets at Golden Knights. Christopher Comentini says, can't trust the Avs. I completely understand that ideology. But they do seem to be looking like they've turned the corner. We will see. Gas Station Sushi, great capper, straight out of Vegas. Shout out to Vinny Cornell. Gas Station Sushi saying, Knights getting worse every game now. And the Jets look bad too. These are 2 teams, both playing bad. And I don't want to figure out who's going to turn it around first. Central Division leading Jets, 2-4-2 in their past 8. Just lost 7-1. Wednesday night. I expect a bounce back performance, but they're without Dustin Byfuglien. They're without Nikolai Ehlers, who is practicing, so he will be back soon. He's not going to be back Friday, but that's going to be a nice boost for them. They're also without defenseman Joe Morrow, not nearly as important as Byfuglien, but still, a piece that they would like to have on the ice. He's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Knights coming off a 3-2 shootout loss at home on Wednesday night to the Bruins. I guess, Dominic said, what's been up with Winnipeg lately? And Anthony says, Knights are terrible. I guess I would take And Fred Gialli says public money is on the Ducks. Yeah, it's a great situation that we have taken advantage of. It's been a nice angle for us, is fading teams on winning streaks. We comfortably faded the Blackhawks when they'd won 7 straight when they were in Boston. We got the inflated price because of their winning streak. We comfortably faded the Kings when they were on a 5-game winning streak and they went into Washington. And we took the Washington on the puck line. We're just doing the same thing here. And because of the Ducks winning 3 of their last 4, going to Minnesota, shutting out Minnesota 4-0, we're getting a little bit more value, obviously more value than we'd get if the Ducks were still playing as horrible as they were playing. This would definitely be a minus situation, even with the -1.5. So here, I would, if there's one of these two teams, I would expect. I mean, obviously the Jets are going to play better than that 7-1 loss, but the Golden Knights aren't playing that bad the last couple games. But 3-8-1 over the past month. They've been outscored 40-27, 1 win in their last 7 home games. They're just not a team I want to trust. Fleury's lost 4 in a row, 7 of his past 9 starts. He's allowed 19 goals over his past 5 games. Still dealing with Carpenter and William Carrier out. Christopher Comentini says Riddick in goal. I've got Riddick there. Richie Rich says Detroit over 5.5, very likely. I'm close to making a move there. I'm close to yeah, Dan Clay says you just have to find the right situation to fade a team on a winning streak. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And in NHL is when I'm the most comfortable doing that. Shout out to Angel Romero, says good morning. I'm down to do the show up for the late show, bro. You can send me the address and info will be set. I will send that to Angel Romero. Angel Romero making his Low Shack in the Bag debut tonight. Going to give out some soccer plays that I know are going to cash out to Angel Romero. Can't wait to have you on the show. So I'm staying off of that game. I'm staying off of Jets at Golden Knights. So let's go over the NHL card right now. And I am interested in that over 5.5 in Minnesota Detroit. I'm quite interested in it, to be honest with you. Let's just see what we get in the over 5.5 there. Minnesota Detroit. Not a lot of juice. And wow. So and also Bet Online opens the over at -125 and now it's at -115. So you know what? I'm going to sit back and watch the market move on that. I can understand it, and Fred Gialli saying Jets have never won in Vegas. I'm on Knights money line. Odar Lira leading Vegas -1.5. Vinny Cornell says smooth as silk. Thanks for the shout out, Jimmy. Right in stride like it was part of the breakdown. You're my guy, Vinny. You know that. Got you, man. LoBag fam. Okay, so I'm on the Jackets -1.5 at +135. I'm on the Red Wings money line at -105, and I'm on the Flames puck line at +115. And Richie Rich says Chicago's my play. Colorado on the road off 2 big wins. I can understand that angle. And last Friday, I needed a big day, and I got it. I went 3 for 3 with 2 puck lines and made just actually just under $900. I believe it was $890. So I need that again, and I like this 3-game card right now. I'm interested in that over 5.5, and we'll talk more about it in the afternoon show. I'm curious to see where the market will go. Mr. Goxer says Jets will go on a run. They need Ellers back. They need Line A scoring, and they need Bufflin back. And those are 3 very important spots, Goxer. So until that's kind of fixed, Gegard said I took Knights 33-1 odds to win the Stanley Cup. I don't think I'm going to hit that bet. Yeah, you're getting a nice number. And the issue with the Knights is they're going to have to, on the road, play either the Sharks or the Flames. And that's a very tough spot. A very, very tough spot. Well, let's move on to NBA coming off a 1-2 day. I don't need to force plays because we get all the great cappers, the stars of King's Court. We got Trotwam, Big Boss. We also have Whale Capper on the late show. So I'm not going to be needing to force any plays, but I will be making some plays because there are spots I like, and I do want to see if I can. I do expect to beat a few of these line moves. So let's first off go with the Wizards at Hornets. I'm getting a -5 on the Hornets, and I'm going to take them. You got Moss says Jets fade with no Ellers. Pie Guy says I heard Line A was on the trade block. No, that's one of those things that would just blow up in your face. He's got too much potential for a 50-goal seasons, and it's possible that he doesn't like living in Winnipeg. And I don't fully understand why, because I think at least at Winnipeg you could only focus on hockey. I mean, you don't have all the other outside things grabbing at you. So, but Gegard says, I like the Hornets here. Wise says, morning, Jim, I'm putting everybody who bets on my barbershop on your show Vision Clips. Dope, man. And Minnesota team total over 2.5 cashes last night, and I have a play for you today as well. I love hearing that. Ill-wise. Love hearing that. So Hornets opening up a 4-game homestand against the Wizards on Friday. So there's a couple big points here. First off, they're getting Tony Parker back, and he missed 4 games before the break because of back soreness. And listen to how important he is. Charlotte is 1-9 this season when Parker doesn't play. It allows Kemba Walker to play off the ball, and also when Kemba Walker is starting the game out of point guard, he's on the ball, and when you can get him off the ball, you're giving the defense different looks, and that's so important to keep your offense from becoming stagnant. The fact that Tony Parker is ready to roll is a big piece of the puzzle. Noli No says, who is better, Ovechkin, Crosby? And that's a very, very tricky question. It's Crosby, but Ovechkin's the greatest goal scorer, and it could end up being the greatest goal scorer in the history of the sport. So it's Crosby's defense, but Ovechkin's physical. I mean, they're spectacular players, but it's Crosby. So Kemba Walker, 24.9 points, 5.6 assists. Also, they're concerned about Biyombo's knee, and that's why they haven't bought out Frank Kaminsky. Now, the Wizards, Trevor Ariza averaging 15.4 points in the 28 games for the Wizards since arriving with the Suns. This is just not a cohesive unit at all. You got Portis, Parker, and Wesley Johnson that they picked up before the trade deadline. They've each played 4 games with the Wizards, and then they have the All-Star break, so it's just not – they're not a cohesive unit. Now they're going to have Satoransky back, who's going to come back very happy after the birth of his first child and having a nice little break. But I'm going to take the Hornets at home here. And Angel Romero giving his soccer plays. I'm going to copy and paste this Angel Romero, and I will go over these while we're hammering the beginning of college basketball. And then we're going to be able to have every single college basketball game, every single one of them we're going to get to hammer while we work with Maxwell Smart on the Late Show. So let's see, and I will read out the soccer plays, but I just want to quickly touch on these basketball games. And then Viper NB says Lakers didn't win that game. Rockets collapsed. There was some questionable refereeing as well, but it is what it is. Yes, Jansen talking about the Raptors game. Another interesting. So says it will be an emotional crowd tonight in the Raptors game. DeRozan, we pumped up to stick to his old team, especially in Toronto. Raptors will win, but not cover. We'll talk more about that spot. But first off, I'm on the Hornets. I'm going to take the Hornets -5. I think that if the Wizards ever find any cohesion, it's just going to take a while for them to do that. It opened at -4 at BetOnline. Now it's -5. At Heritage, they're hanging a -5 at -105. Reduced juice at Heritage makes it a very nice book. I'm on it. Hornets -5, -105 available at Heritage. Now, Pelicans at Pacers. Initially, and I'd love to hear what Ski and some of the guys have to say about this spot, because initially I thought the Pacers were going to be a play, and I'm not anymore. And listen, Richie Rich saying Vegas, I'm taking over 6. Both teams will take chances to score. Desperation equals scoring. You got Moss says Pacers -6.5. Got to take Indiana right. I no longer think so. After breaking down this game. Kevin Retham saying Jimmy, today's another dog day. Remember, that's what happens after the break. Is you and cash action bets like in the Washington Charlotte over. Let's take a quick look at what that would be here. We'll get back to spreads and totals here. And 232, it's gone up. Wow, that's an interesting sign. I'm not going to take overs right now. Kevin Reffman says Pelicans can cover. Geghard A on the under on Pelicans Pacers. Let's see what that under is. It opens at 220.5, and that's also gone up to 222.5 and 222. Cash action bet says Pacers and under, and AD is probable. I have AD playing in this game. I expect Anthony Davis to be playing in this game. Pelicans got a big win right before the break. They were playing terrible. They got that big win over Oklahoma City at home, 131-122. They're 6 games out of a playoff spot. They're not going to get into the playoff spot. You got Moss says Davis minutes will be limited to 20 to 25. And wow, Corey Max is watching the market moves. I love Knicks +5. Now, I can't wait to break that game down. So let's keep rolling along here. So Gail Benson, the owner, expects her team to compete at the high level for the remainder of the season. She wrote a statement regarding the firing of general manager Del Demps. Elfrid Payton, and Jamal Wright says Davis 25-minute restriction for the rest of the season. Elfrid Payton coming back is a big deal. And if you're like a Pelicans fan or if you were a Magic fan, this guy would drive you absolutely crazy. T-Wade says Dames and Games tonight. Let's go. You're damn right, T-Wade. We're going to do it right at Dames and Games. So I'll be there. I'll be there for 9 o'clock and can't wait to roll with everybody. Elfrid Payton is a guy who steps it up in times like this when it's not important. and he's been out for a little while, and he sort of wants to show people what they've been missing. He's just not consistent enough, and I'm not going to. I I just would hate to be a fan. Oh, look at that. Pacers first quarter -2. Dave LA going right back to the well of fading the Pelicans early. Dave LA, how do you think a 25-minute limit would change that betting philosophy, knowing that Anthony Davis might be able to go all out while he's on the floor instead of kind of preparing for a 37 or 38-minute game? You got Moss says Dave LA still fading Pelicans first quarter. Hey, if it's working, keep rolling with it. Kevin Ruthman says Pacers will try to shut down the attack of the Pelicans, but my forecast will be a low-scoring game, and the Pelicans will definitely cover. Let's talk about the Pacers right now because they got some issues too. So they they lose their first 4 games without Oladipo. Then they come back and win 6 straight, and then they lose 106-97 at home to the Bucks before the break, and that was the play we were all on. We all had the Bucks in that game. We looked at who the Pacers had been beating in those 6 games, and it was the trash of the league. So they begin the second half with the 3rd best record in the East, 8th hardest remaining schedule in NBA, cumulative winning percentage of opponents of .522. Tyreek Evans, MRI on his left ankle. He tweaked it against the Hornets before the All-Star break. It's been lingering. We have to wait for another update. He's probably not going to be in line. Also, Miles Turner, bruised hip, listed as questionable. Now, I expect Turner to come back, but all this said and done, I think the Pelicans might be live here to cover this big spread. It's not that big. It's at 6.5, and this is a team that's 9-22 on the road. Brandon Cummings says Pelicans is my bet. Without Oladipo, I don't think they cover. You got Moss says Anthony Davis will be a first quarter all-star now with no fourth quarter minutes. That's very interesting. That's what I was talking about. Gas Station Sushi says my top picks at Santa Anita. Oh, shit. Those are his top picks at Gas Station Sushi. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to copy and paste that, and I will read them out once we're done this NBA section. That's beautiful stuff. Thank you for sharing that, Gas Station Sushi. I wish I was there. Absolutely wish I was there. Luke DM says Pelicans, Pacers, no bet. Randy Lockhart says Davis out of the team's long-term plans, giving extra minutes to Jahlil Okafor, who's actually been playing pretty good. And Flipper13 just bet Knicks +6 last of the Mohicans. Anthony S liking the Bulls +8. And King Rail's another person who likes the Bulls +8. I'm not sure if he made a move on it, but I know he's been talking about it. Well, I have a lean towards the Pelicans. And that's a move that I'm not going to make right now. I'm going to discuss it with more cappers. But it's certainly something that interests me. Now, I think we need to really break down pace and what AD is going to do if he's not with the minutes restriction. Thinking about maybe if the Pelicans should be an earlier play than usual, knowing that Dave LA is on the Pacers first quarter, it's going to be time for me to. I'm going to need to study this here. Nutflush Allen says, but do we know if those 25 minutes are coming in the first quarter? You know he'll get 6 to 8 minutes in the first quarter. Kevin Ruthman says, if Pelicans start to keep the game close in the first half, I expect them to cover even in the whole game. Randy Lockhart says, if you like the Pelicans, it should be a first half play. And smart money like in New Orleans, team total over 108. That might be a nice spot too, smart money. But then and that's where the market's telling. I mean, the market's moving towards the over. So that's what's up. I'm going to take some more time here. Now, interestingly enough, people liking the Bulls here at +8. And Orlando came into the All-Star break looking as good as they've looked in years, averaging 118.8 per game during that 5-game winning streak. Vucevic, best season of his 8-year career, 20.5 points, 12.1 boards. Gordon playing great, 15.8 points, 7.3 boards. But I'm telling you, it's Fournier and what Fournier is saying in the dressing room. That guy is a leader, and he's finally playing important minutes, and he's playing them very well. Orlando's won 7 of its past 8 games. 2 of the best teams they beat. Now, it was a Milwaukee team they beat that did not have Antetokounmpo, but they beat Milwaukee and Indiana. It's the longest winning streak since December 2015. Now let's talk about the Bulls. Chris Dunn is going to be back. So that's 2 bad teams in the Bulls and Pelicans that are getting good point guards back. And so there's questions. How much of a boost will that be? Will they be in a rhythm right now? I would expect Dunn to be in a better rhythm than Peyton because I have questions about Peyton's character. Otto Porter Jr. averaging 22.5 points in 4 games since the Bulls acquired him. He's very comfortable there. We got Chandler Hutchinson out with a toe injury. Wendell Carter Jr. is going to be out for the rest of the year. Sean Watson says Orlando makes the playoffs. They can take it. They're playing good hockey. Oh, and DT does says, I wonder, will Cat play after his accident? Wow, that's interesting stuff. I'd love to know more about what's going on in that situation. Joe Flaherty says magic injuries allow Bulls to at least cover here. And, this will be another spot just because Rail's on the Bulls, a bunch of guys are on the Bulls. I'm going to take a little bit more time to make a decision here. Let's see what's going on with the total. It's popped up about a half point or a point from 216.5. So, and Randy Lockhart liking the under here. Anthony S. says, just read Orlando's 3-12 against the spread after 3 or more days rest in their last 15. I don't know if it's an interesting take, but I think things are a little different with this squad right now because they're in a playoff race finally. So, and it's a much longer break than the 3, but I can understand. That's an important note, and thank you for reading it out, Anthony S. Luke DM says, Bulls +8 is the only play I'm on at the moment. Interesting. A lot of people liking the Bulls. Now, let's look at what's going on with the Spurs and Raptors roster or market move. Toronto opens at -8.5 at BetOnline. It's now -7.5. Now, one key thing here, and I'm sure that it's not, LaMarcus Aldridge is probable, but he's sick. And there's a flu going around right now, and he is sick dealing with it. So he's had this long break, and he's probable to play, but that's going on. Second meeting between the teams since the offseason deal with DeRozan, Podol going for Kawhi and Danny Green. We talked about this game quite a bit yesterday off air about how we sort of saw the situation and also about Lowry not playing in that first game, even though he was healthy, and DeRozan goes off for his first career triple-double. DeRozan struggled in January. He looked bad, not named an all-star, and he had ankle injuries that were slowing him down, as always. DeRozan leading the Spurs with 21.4 points despite averaging just 16.3 and shooting 40.9% in January. I think this is a spot where the Raptors come back. They were embarrassed in that game. Cash action bets also liking the Spurs here. And I'm gonna hold off, I guess, just seeing all you guys on the Spurs. Randy Lockhart says, remember, Chicago likely headed toward the draft lottery and could benefit from dropping more games down the stretch. There's no doubt about that. But remember, the bottom 3 teams all have the same chance of getting the first overall pick. That's another thing to remember. Leonard scored 21 points against the Spurs in that game. He was booed by the crowd. I think that this is a spot where the Raptors will come together and show what they're made of here. Gasol brothers will be playing. Pau, 38, Mark, 34. Nick Nurse likes Mark's addition to the group, says we can go a lot bigger anytime we want. And this would be a nice spot to go bigger. There's going to be moments in this game where you can put Serge, Marc Gasol, and Siakam on the floor together and be a big team, a big, tough team. Fred VanVleet undergone surgery for ligament damage, so Jeremy Lin's come in to replace him. Corey Mack also leaning Spurs, but no play. Interesting. I really feel like, and you got Moses Popovich getting 7 points. Joe Wins leaning Raptors with me. At this point, I'm going to keep an eye on the market, but, I'm not. I'm going to take the Toronto Raptors. I am going to take Toronto Raptors. I'm getting a -7 at UWager at -110. I think that the times when the Spurs, to me, can be the toughest are when they go big and when Gasol's on the floor with Aldridge. And now we can easily handle that with our size. I am going to take the Raptors. That is my second spot on this card, and I'm going to do it comfortably here. Let's take a quick look at what's going on with the total there. It opens at 227.5. It's down to 226 at Pinnacle. Pinnacle leading the way to the under. BetOnline also is taking it down to 226 at -110. And Kevin Rutham says the spread is tricky, Jimmy. Joe Wynn saying Lynn going to show up for the Asian community in the 6. He's going to love it there. He's going to love it there. Too bad the Grizzlies aren't in Vancouver anymore, because both Vancouver and Toronto have wonderful, wonderful giant Asian populations. The best Asian food you can possibly imagine. Maybe this side of San Francisco. I know San Francisco would want to debate whether they have great Asian food, but yeah, he's going to love it. He's going to love it in Toronto, especially as the weather starts getting nicer there. Pistons at Hawks. Pistons open up the second half of the season tied with Miami Heat, 8th playoff spot. They're a half game behind 7th place Charlotte, half game ahead of 10th place Orlando. They had their 4-game winning streak snapped by Boston, 118-110. Celtics won despite not having Kyrie Irving, Terry Rozier in the lineup. They'll now play 4 of the next 5 on the road. This is not a team to trust on the road. Oh, Will Livingood says 10-1 on the over, loving the over. And Jansen says, if I lose, Jimmy, I owe you a Jameson. That sounds good to me, Jansen. And if I lose, I will owe you a Jameson. Kevin Ruffin says Raptors made the biggest mistake trading Valanciunas for Gasol. There's no doubt about it, but what's going on with Gasol right now, or sorry, with Valanciunas, because he stayed in Lithuania. He's got some personal things going on. Again, stuff that you'd have to be an insider to know about. Who knows? I'm just saying, who knows what's going on? He's not going to be in the lineup for the Grizzlies today. There will be no Valanciunas. There might not even be Jaren Jackson Jr., but there will be no Valanciunas. But let's keep talking about this spot here. Drummond playing very well. Been playing very well for a while, and Griffin, of course, makes the All-Star team. 18 double doubles, over 20 points in 42 games. He's playing good basketball. 26.3 points, 8.1 boards, 5.4 assists. Atlanta dropped 4 or 5, and that loss to the Knicks was unbelievably embarrassing. Cash action bet saying Pistons and the under. Oh wow, is that Abramov? Who's Abramov? Has been pulled off Columbus practice morning, so we won't be surprised to see a trade between Sens and Jackets. Oh, okay. I know you. Wow, that would be exciting. That makes a ton of sense. I bet you that, and then maybe they played tonight. I bet you the Jackets get one of these studs, because the Jackets were looking to add a piece. They were in talks to get Huberdeau. Very interesting stuff, Oil Canyon. I bet you're absolutely right with that. Fred Gialli is saying under could be the play for the Spurs game. Viper MB says Detroit my max bet tonight. One thing I've learned about this Piston squad is not to trust them, but you might have a better read on them than I do. I've had a tough read with them. There's been times where they've been on the road and I've liked them, and it's not worked for me. It's just not. Oh, again, it says Spurs, Columbus prospect. Yeah, Abramov. I'm going to have to look him up. I don't know enough about him, Oil Canyon. But thank you for the heads up. That's exciting. I bet you they get a beast here. So get your bets in. I got to get my bet in soon. I haven't made any of these bets yet. Okay, let's keep rolling. So they lose 4 or 5, an embarrassing 106-91 loss at home against the Knicks. The Knicks lost 18 straight games. Now, a lot of you guys were on the Knicks in that. I wasn't on the Hawks. You guys got me off the Hawks, but that was pretty impressive because that came after beating the Lakers 117-114. This is going to be another sleepy night in Atlanta where nobody shows up. Sharp Money says, you better now, Jimmy. Sadly, no. But getting a little bit better each and every day. But I can't laugh at, wow, Duchesne to Columbus, says Mark Von Dolan. Oh, God, get your bets in on Columbus immediately. Oh, man. Okay, so I gotta make that bet, but I'll just wait till the end of the show and try not to panic. So Jalen Adams replacing Jeremy Lin. Trae Young averaging 16.9, 7.6 assists. Only Chris Paul and John Wall have averaged that 16 and 7 as a rookie. John Collins, 19.1 points, 9.5 boards. Taurean Prince is shooting very well now after he missed all those games with the ankle injury. He's shooting very well. 547, 55% from the field over the last 8 games. Before that loss to the Knicks, Pistons won the first game, and then remember the Hawks won 98-95 in Detroit. I certainly do not. Oh, and Kevin Russell says, personally, I think DeMar DeRozan will be very emotional today. He's not himself. He's been suffering from depression. You're right, Kevin Russell. This is, he would say things like, I am Toronto, and he took less money to stay in Toronto, and it was really sad watching this happen. Remo says that Detroit mini over 5.5 should hit. Minnesota off back-to-backs. Staylock 3.8, Bernier 3.31 goals against average, 898 save percentage. Yeah, I like that over 5.5. And the Herb saying, yeah, Duchesne to the Blue Jackets. Flipper13 says best Chinese food, try Chinatown in downtown LA tonight. Yeah, that might be a very, very good idea. Mark Lopez Plez says fade Blake Griffin. You know what? I'm not going to make a move. I've learned my lesson back in Detroit on the road. This total has gone down. Opens at 223 at BetOnline. Now it's at 222. And let's see if what Heritage is hanging. Heritage also hanging at 222, but reduced juice minus 105. Shout out to Heritage for that. This is a stay off game for me. Let's talk about Timberwolves Knicks. Heard a bunch of you guys on the Knicks, and that does make sense to me. Yeah, and Oil Guy is saying Abramov, a 3rd round pick in 2016. Yeah, I don't. I need to learn about him. I don't know much about him. So Timberwolves Knicks. This Timberwolves team terrible on the road. 8-20 on the road. They'll play 11 of their next 16 games on the road. Their 8 road wins are the 3rd fewest in the West behind Dallas and Phoenix. Now, they looked okay right before the break, right? They beat Houston at home 121-111. That was a game where I had Houston, so that's another loss with Houston that I took last night. They're trying to win 3 straight for the 5th time this season. Teague has looked very good since coming back from injury. 19.3 points last 3 games, 16.5% shooting since he came back from his sore left foot. Cat too, and there was some talk about Cat in an accident. So we need to. Noli Knows says you need to be wearing a Dodger hat. I haven't seen that in the repertoire. You're right, Noli Knows. I haven't had a chance to do any shopping while I'm here either because it's been very busy. Tyus Jones is expected to return. Wiggins will return. Robert Covington is actually getting closer to coming back from his knee injury. He'll still be out. So he was limited at practice. But this is a team that's just, oh, come on. Mr. Gokster, please tell me that's true. Please tell me that Robert Kraft was charged with soliciting prostitution in Florida Spa. I would love that. Look, this is my first smile of the day. I was up very early capping this card. Okay. And wow, Herb says Drager believes Jackson may not be done either. Wow. Dennis Smith Jr. put up 18 points in that win over Atlanta. But if you're asking Kadeem Allen and John Jenkins to do the offensive lifting for you, you're just a terrible basketball team. Now they're going to get Moutier back. Ntilikina is being ruled out. He's still dealing with a groin injury. I love that you guys are taking the Knicks at plus 6.5 right now, but that's a very and Seth Hagen is questionable after getting a car accident on the way to the airport. Wow, Seth, that's wild. That does make it came out 2 minutes ago. Is that the spot, man? Is it take the Knicks here? I mean, obviously without Cat. Wow. And I bet you it might be off the board. Wow, I'm going to take a little bit of time on this, but wow, I'll definitely make an asterisk here and look into it. Wow, very interesting stuff. Okay, let's keep rolling right along here. We have Clippers at Grizzlies. With Jaren Jackson questionable, Valanciunas still dealing with a personal matter. And then you have these guys, JaMychal Green and Garrett Temple, who went to LA for the Avery Bradley trade. I feel like the Clippers might be the spot here, and I'm very close to making a move with them. We know that they're good on the road. They're taking a lot of the bets right now, which is a little uncomforting. But Conley is playing good. There's a reason why he wasn't picked up. That's one of the worst contracts in professional sports. He's healthy. They're also dealing with injuries, right? Kyle Anderson's still out, and he's such an important piece to this team. Dylan Brooks, as we know, done for the season. Chandler Parson is going to play for the first time since October 22nd. Enjoy that. So the Clippers, 2-1 immediately before the break. You know, they got rid of Tobias Harris or traded Tobias Harris to set them up to make a run at Kawhi. They won 123-112 victory at Boston. That was very impressive, even though Kyrie got hurt in that game. Zubac, Shamet looking good. But remember, this team's all Gallinari and Lou Will, and they're still there. Gilgeous-Alexander's been good. You know, I think that the Clippers are the play, and I'm going to make them my play here. Valanciunas out of the lineup, a banged-up Jaren Jackson. We know that the Clippers play well on the road. Doc Rivers does some great work with this team. I'm going to take him -2 and -105 at Heritage. I'm on the Clippers, -2, -105 at Heritage. All right, beautiful. Let's keep rolling. Nuggets at Mavericks. Then we have Jazz at Thunder. And then we'll take a look at this college basketball card before we break down. Ashley Wynn says, anyone on the Knicks under? Yeah, I think we need to find out exactly what's going on right now. And Captain 24/7 says Clippers all day. We need to find out what's going on with Cat at this point. But that sounds interesting. Nuggets at Mavericks. Nuggets went into the break having won 2 straight, 10-14. You have Millsap and Harris now back in the lineup. Trey Lyles, though, hurt his hamstring. He's being ruled out, but that's not that big of a piece. And then you have Doncic. And after trading, some big pieces, there's a huge weight falls on Doncic's shoulders, and I know he's being spectacular, but the guy doesn't turn 20 till I guess he turns 20 at the end of this month. But now the Mavs have been outscored by 50 points in the last 3 games with Doncic on the floor. They went 1-3 in those games. Tim Hardaway has helped out a little bit. The Mavs are only averaging 102.6 points per game since the big trade with New York. I think that they're just asking him to do too much. And getting Denver at -4.5 is appealing to me. I would like to hear what you guys have to say about that. You got Moss says Indiana +7 is play. Knicks +6 is already what Flipper's on. Duchesne to Columbus, Blue Jackets huge tonight. Yeah, I wish I had already bet that. Yeah, Terry Nichols. Damn, sorry, Terry Nichols. It's been a tough week. It's been a very tough week. We'll get that back. But hate seeing that. I think that the Nuggets I think the Mavericks are just playing bad basketball. And I think the Nuggets are just 14-14 on the road, but now they're going to be healthy. I think they go on a run here. I think the Nuggets is a play. Fred Gialli liking the Mavs over. Let's take a quick look at what that over is. Oh, wow, that's banged up 5 points since opening at 219 at BetOnline, now 224 across the board. Wow. Mavs over. I want to take this Nugget squad here. I think they take care of business. You know what? I think they take care of business, and I am going to do that. Oh, but cash action like in Mavs, no KC. Sean Glass says easy money. Denver. Dallas has no help. Dallas under also. Wow, so you're going to go against that market move. Listen, I think the stats are just telling us that. Oh, wow. Steve Price says Sagarin says Mavs plus the points. Okay, well, I'll just leave it as a lean right now. Odar Lira has the same lean. I'll leave that as a lean. I'll keep an eye on the market. And then let's talk Jazz Thunder. Wow, Robert Kraft was really arrested for prostitution. That's just wild. That's wild. Anthony B says Dallas is a good home team. See, I think that's why we're getting the value on the Nuggets, because they're no longer going to be a good home team. They were a good home team. Now their starting five is absolute trash. Jamel Wright says Nuggets 4.5 is a gift. I agree. This Mavericks team was a good home team, 20-9 with their old lineup. You know what? I'm going to take the Nuggets here. I'm going to take the Nuggets here, a healthy Nuggets team, minus 4.5 at minus 105 at Heritage. It's also 4.5 minus 105. Nutflush Allen says, Jimmy, is the Blue Jackets a double or triple up spot? No, never. Thank you, Mr. Coxer. I'm not smiling enough, but no, I think that's where you can get got. I think you just keep your regular unit size, take them on the minus 1.5, get your win, and move on. I think that it's risky. It's risky finding one game or one spot and saying, "Oh, I'm going to triple up here," unless, the Senators team will get more comfortable without these guys in the dressing room. So I would be a little hesitant to I wouldn't bother doubling or tripling. I would just make it a regular play at minus 1.5. I am going to take the Nuggets. That's not going to be a lean for me. And I think this is another situation where the Mavericks' home record is giving us more value. If you look at how this team is playing of late, they're playing badly. And so Sharp Money says, yep, Denver is the play. I'm going to jump on this right now. Minus 4.5 at minus 105. Minus 4.5 at minus 105. Okay. And we have Jazz at Thunder. So I would like to take the Thunder here, but I'm going to take a little bit of time on this. Make sure the Thunder is one of those teams that just seems to get me, even though I do think they're a very good basketball team. Gobert did not hide his disappointment. He cried on camera for not making the All-Star game, and he feels very good right now. He says he's recharged completely, mentally, physically. He says, I'm going to feel a lot better when I get back. He said the next 2 months I feel will be a lot better. Both teams have been winning. Jazz have won 13 of their last 16, and they're getting Dante Exum back, who missed 17 games with left ankle sprain. And a lot of teams wanted Exum, and the Jazz made sure that he was not available. And Gobert, talking about Exum, says, I think when he's playing very well, he can have a big impact for us. Having him back soon is going to help us a lot. Thunder have won 11-13 before the break. They lost that last game. I was on them against Pelicans. I even doubled up on that spot. It was disappointing. Odar Lira says DeAndre Jordan was key in that record, I think. I thought so too until, I watched him play for the Knicks. Now, I know that's a much more difficult situation, but he's still at Dennis Smith Jr., and he does not look good at all. The Thunder won the first two meetings between these teams. They clinched. Now, remember, this Thunder team eliminated Utah in the playoffs last year. This feels a little. Okay, thank you. A great update from Seth. Says he made it to New York, resting at a team hotel list as questionable. He has never missed a game, starting 303 of 303. Wow, I did not know that. Jermel Wright, like in the full game under in this spot, Jazz. Wow, that's interesting. That's just stayed there. I think that's an interesting lean. Open at 226 and at 226. It's still there at BetOnline, but it's 226 and a half at some books. And the Herb says, careful doubling up when the teams are inserting new talent in the NHL. Some guys, it takes a while to get chemistry, a new team, a new system. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. That under is, okay, I'm going to take a lean. That's a very interesting spot. I think you might be bang on, Jermel. But this just seems a little trickier than it looks. I mean, the Thunder at such a small spread, at home, you'd be like, oh, I should jump on that. It opens at 3.5. Now it's 4.5, but something just doesn't necessarily feel right. R2D2 Finland says Nuggets 3-10 on the road in their last games. Remember, they were dealing with a ton of injuries. Getting Millsap and Harris back is enormous. So let's not. Fred Jelly says Thunder will handle Jazz tonight minus 4.5. That might be a play I make. So lean under and lean Jazz. That might be a move I make. Thunder have a Markieff Morris available for the first time. I like that signing. Average 11.5 points, 5.1 boards before the neck injury. They're also going to have Jeremy Grant and Dennis Schroeder. Each missed the last 2 games before the break. Grant with an ankle injury, Schroeder after the birth of his child. I like this Thunder team moving forward very much, but this just seems a little trickier than it looks. And I'm going to stay off that. We're going to leave NBA at that. So let's talk about NCAA quickly and then go over all the official picks. So in NBA, we have Matt Randall's Taint Play of the Day. In NCAA, college basketball, we have Davidson, Rhode Island, under 132. Says the line is going down. Hurry. We also have Dan Kelly saying Syracuse money line versus Duke Saturday. Get on it as soon as it comes out. Hughes will rally around the coach. And because of the tragedy, he accidentally killed a man driving home 2 nights ago, swerving away from his car and accidentally killed a man. The Duke team has never seen anything like the largest on-campus NCAA basketball crowd ever. Dave LA says Pacers should take advantage of Pelicans. I really love the first quarter -2. Hey, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to be thinking about that. Don't worry, Dave LA. I'm going to be breaking that down with all the guys. So we've got plays from Angel Romero and Gas Station Sushi. I will close the show with that, but let's talk about these spots in NCAA quickly and then close the show in a few minutes. First off, the Davidson Rhode Island under is a look from our man Matt Randall. NCAA basketball. Here we go. Let's go to spreads and totals. We have an interesting card here, and we have got some big games. We have Kent State at Buffalo. We just watched Buffalo win by 50 odd points and put up 114 against Ohio. So I don't want to just jump on Buffalo just because of that recency bias. We also have a big game, Indiana at Iowa. Iowa's been taking money at home. And this under, Davidson, Rhode Island, is going down, but not that fast. Opened up at 131.5 at BetOnline. It's still there, 131 minus 110. I'm going to keep an eye on the market with that move, but that might be the spot. Let's see what other guys are talking about. And Christian Wallace says Davidson straight up. Davidson is not taking money. Money's coming in on Rhode Island. Davidson opens at -2. And now it's a pick'em and a pick'em at BetOnline. So that's a 2-point swing. 2-point swing right now. Good BK Capper likes the Harvard under. Harvard is taking money against Brown, and that is moving in that direction. Opens at 136. Now we have 133.5 and 133. Hail to the Victors likes Bowling Green -4.5 and Iowa -6.5. It was good that you got the 6.5 because that's no longer available for Iowa. And let's see where we got this Bowling Green. So, I mean, I wonder if Ohio bounces back. Ohio has taken money. That was just a horrifying performance at Buffalo. The Herbs has agreed, Sacktown, on Bowling Green. Bowling Green opens at -5, is now down to -4. This total opens at 143, is now up at 146 and 146.5. Mr. Gokster says Harvard Brown under. I smashed it. Wow. Maybe that is the play. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. And Mr. Gokster says also Brown money line, even though Harvard's taking money. Good BK Capper says Bowling looks chippy. And Hail to Victor says -7 is still good, and he's talking about Iowa in that spot. Very interesting. Smart money's on the Dallas Denver first half over 114.5. Detroit Atlanta first half over 112.5, and Orlando Chicago, I believe that's first half over as well. You got Moss says Canisius +3 seems like my bet, and Bernier confirmed for the Red Wings. I don't like that. Canisius +3 is my best play. Let's take a quick look at where Canisius stands, and yeah, that line is stuck there at 3. No moves there. The total opened at 136 and is now at 136.5. Red Girl liking Marist -6. Excuse me. St. Peter's is taking money here, and this is another St. Peter's. And remember, Max went against this very low St. Peter's total last game in cash. Marist opening at -7.5 is now -6 across the board. Some money coming in on St. Peter's, and this total dropping from 125.5 to 124. Corey Max says, I like that under 130.5 as well on Rhode Island Davidson. It's becoming my favorite. Ooh. Rhode Island, and the under 135 is Corey Mack. And DJ Big Boss saying Brown under is a nice spot. Interesting. So the Brown under has got to be on the radar. The taint play of the day. How do you not take the taint play of the day when it's at 5-2? I'm definitely. I'm just going to need to study these games a little bit more, but that makes a ton of sense. Coco Bongo said Buffalo, but I would want to find out if Avery is playing for Kent State. Cash Action Bets is on Harvard, Dartmouth, Columbia, Princeton, Bowling Green. Oh, interesting. He's on Monmouth. So he's not going. So he's going up against the Canisius play, and he's also on Iona. Steve Priest also saying Orlando Magic Wine State. We've had everybody else on the Bulls. Julian Cesario, shout out to Julian. Can't wait to see you this weekend. He's on Davidson Moneyline and Bowling Green. Very, very interesting. And good BK, what do y'all think about Kent State first half? Buffalo usually starts off slow in the first half. They do. They absolutely do. And Mr. Coach says looking at Rhode Island right now. So a nice little card here. We have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 college basketball games. Mally Mouse says horrible NCAA card. I don't feel that way because I know that we're going to be able to break down each and every one of these games with Maxwell Smart, and that makes me very exciting. And I'm pumped about this show tonight. We have the Low Shack in the Bag debut of Angel Romero. Then we have Whale Capper, Ski Profit, King Rail, J Money is Money, Trot Wham, and DJ Big Boss. We got them all on one giant show this afternoon. And then we're going to go meet up at Dames and Games where they're going to be tits in our face and basketball on the TVs. It's going to be very, very, very fun. So please join us at Dames and Games. If you can't make it Dames and Games tonight, remember, on Saturday, we are at the Parlor at 4 p.m. We're meeting nice and early to watch that Lakers game, and the Warriors game starts at 5:30. R2D2 says, I love the Clippers too. I'm going to quickly go over all my plays, and then we're going to shut this show down. I'm on the Jackets minus 1.5 at plus 135. I'm on the Red Wings money line at minus 105, and I'm on the Flames puck line minus 1.5 at plus 115. Then in NBA, I'm on the Hornets minus 5 at minus 105. I am on the Raptors minus 7 at minus 110. And I'm on the, sorry, I got to keep rolling through these. No, it's Clippers minus 2 at minus 105. Red Girl says, Jimmy, come to Miami. I would love that. That's definitely something that we are planning on doing, Red Girl. Absolutely planning on doing. And I'm on Nuggets minus 4 at minus 105. So I have 4 NBA plays that I jumped on now and did not wait to join the experts. So we'll see. We'll see how that looks, and we'll break down these games with the great NBA experts on the Late Show. Hawks over is a 7 tonight. Yeah, and the Hawks Avalanche, and I don't take those. But Fred Gialli's on it, and it's been making money. Steve Cordero liking the IUPUI over. And quickly, shout out to our guys, Andrew Romero. Morning soccer picks. West Ham moneyline minus 120 in EPL. Then Stade Brestois moneyline minus 137. That's the French League 2. And Werder Bremen moneyline minus 180 at Bundesliga. Again, West Ham moneyline minus 120. Stade Brestois, French League 2, minus 137. And Werder Bremen minus 180. Might want to put those into a little parlay. And then Gas Station Sushi at Santa Anita has put out his plays. I wish, Gas Station Sushi, did you tweet these out? Because I would love, on the second race of Santa Anita, he's on the number 5, Lady Nye at 2-1. In race 4, he's on the number 7, We All at 4-1. In race 7, he's on the number 4, Plain W. And then on Santa Anita, race 8, he's on the number 1, Hey Sec at 6-1. So take a look at those plays in Santa Anita. Gas Station Sushi, a spectacular horse handicapper. And that's what's up. Thank you guys so much for joining Low Shack in the Bag on this Friday morning. We're going to have a giant late show. Please join us. We're going to break down every single one of these games. Every single one will be broken down on this show between the morning show and the late show. It's very important that we have a big Friday. We had a great Friday last week, and we've had a tough week. So let's finish this Friday off with action and glorious action. Meet us at Games and Dames Night, but please check out the Late Show later on today. It's going to be packed with guys I love capping with. But most importantly, Robert Kraft got busted for soliciting a prostitute. And Leche, Alos Bookmakers!